In this class we will discuss a few problems related to exercise 1.2 and 1.3. So we can move to the first question. Here the first question is, find the domain and range of the function f of x is equal to square root of x square minus 9. So here f of x is given square root of x square minus 9. So when you move to the answer part, so for getting domain of f, according to the definition, f of x must be a real number. Like that, a real function is defined. That is, for domain of f, f of x must be a real number. Its images should be a real number. And that implies here f of x is given square root of x square minus 9. So we can say that square root of x square minus 9 must be a real number. When we can say square root of x square minus 9 be a real number if x square minus 9 is greater than or equal to 0, then only we can say square root of x square minus 9 is a real number, because square root of some negative number, that is not a real number. So we can say that if square root of x square minus 9 is a real number, that implies x square minus 9 that should be greater than or equal to 0. But we know there's some identities related to the inequality. By using that, we can write x plus 3 into x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 0. And here we are using that identity. By using that identity, we can say here we are using those identities related to intervals. So we can write x should be less than or equal to minus 3, or x is greater than or equal to 3. Or we can write this is the domain of the function f. Otherwise we can write this domain as, because x is less than or equal to minus 3 means it can be minus infinity to minus 3. X is greater than or equal to 3 means it can be 3 to infinity. So we can rewrite the same thing as domain of f is equal to open interval minus infinity to closed interval minus 3 union closed interval 3 to open interval infinity. And then for finding out range of f, here it is given f of x, that is same as y, and that is equal to square root of x square minus 9. Here we can say y should be greater than or equal to 0, because square root of any number is greater than or equal to 0. No, because here it is given that here f of x should be a real number. So here that is a condition. So here we can say that here square root of x square minus 9, that should be greater than or equal to 0, and that implies y square is equal to, that is we are squaring both sides, then we will get y square is equal to x square minus 9, and that implies x square is equal to, when we transpose the things, then we will get that is equal to y square plus 9, and that implies y square plus 9 is greater than or equal to 0, because x square, that is a square of some number, square of any number, that is always greater than or equal to 0. So here we can write y square plus 9 is greater than or equal to 0, and that implies y square is greater than or equal to minus 9. So here we can write y square is greater than or equal to minus 9 for all y belongs to R. And in that first step, because it is given that y is greater than or equal to 0, like that a real function is defined. So by combining these two things, here y square is greater than or equal to 9, y square is greater than or equal to minus 9, and also y is greater than or equal to 0, and then we can write here y should be greater than or equal to 0. Otherwise we can write range of f is equal to closed interval 0 to infinity. And the next question is, here find the domain and range of f of x. Range of f of x, here it is, f of x is given 4 minus x divided by x minus 4. So for finding out its domain, we know the condition f of x must be a real number. When we can say here function is f of x is equal to 4 minus x divided by x minus 4. So when we can say we are getting a real number, for what values of x we are getting its output as a real number. When we can say that if this denominator part is not equal to 0, then we can say always we are getting it as a real number. So we can say f of x must be a real number if x minus 4 is not equal to 0, and that implies x is not equal to 4. If x is not equal to 4, that is other than 4, if you input any real number into the function, always we are getting its output as a real number. So its domain, it should be r minus set 4. Only 4 is not there, and all the real numbers except 4 we can consider as domain of f. And then when you find out the range, for range, that is f of x is equal to 4 minus x divided by x minus 4. This f of x also we can write as, if you take one minus outside, then 4 minus x, it will become minus of x minus 4 divided by x minus 4, no? And what is minus of x minus 4 divided by x minus 4? We can cancel this x minus 4, x minus 4, and we are getting that as minus 1. That means if you input any value into the function, always we are getting the output as minus 1, no? That means we can say, that is output we are getting only minus 1. That means a range of f is equal to set minus 1, we can say. And next question, that is, here find the domain and range of f of x is equal to mod of x minus 4 divided by x minus 4. Then here also we have to find out the domain and range, and the function is f of x is equal to mod x minus 4 divided by x minus 4. So when we discuss about that modulus function, what is mod x? Mod x is defined, it is here, mod x is defined like this, that is equal to x or minus x. When it is x, mod x is equal to x if x is greater than or equal to 0. It is minus x if x is less than 0. That is mod of any real number. Suppose x we are taking as a real number, so mod of any real number, that is equal to, if x is positive or 0, then its mod also same we are getting, and if x is a negative number, then mod should be minus of that real number if x is less than 0. Like that it is defined. So here we can say, for domain, f of x must be a real number, that is a basic condition. So we can say for finding out domain, x minus 4, that is not equal to 0, because denominator part x minus 4 is there, so that should not be 0. If it is 0, it should be not defined, no? You all know that. That implies x is not equal to 4. That means domain of f we can write as r minus set 4, that is all the real numbers we can consider except 4. And when we consider its range, f of x we can write as mod of x minus 4 divided by x minus 4. Here we are considering this definition. Two cases are there. First case we can write f of x is equal to minus of x minus 4 divided by x minus 4. or f of x is equal to second, this is the second case, that is x minus 4 divided by x minus 4. We are using this definition, and in that first case we are getting minus of x minus 4 divided by x minus 4. We can cancel x minus 4, we will get it as minus 1, and here when we cancel both we are getting that as 1. That is, the possible outcomes are the possible outputs are minus 1 and 1. So we can say that range of f is equal to set of all minus 1 1. Next question, it is find the domain of f of x, and that is equal to 1 by log 9 minus x square. Here the function is f of x is equal to 1 by log 9 minus x square. So for finding out domain of f, so here we have to find out the domain. So for finding out domain, the condition is f of x must be a real number. So we know that log of negative numbers are not defined. Also we know log 0 is equal to log of negative numbers and 0 is not defined, and then it is defined only for values which is greater than 0. So here we can say that, and also you have to remember log 1 is equal to 0. So here we can say when we can say here the condition is f of x must be a real number, no? So here when the denominator part is 0, then we cannot take it as a real number. Also here the function is log, so if 9 minus x square is a negative number, then also we cannot consider this as a real number, because log of a negative number is not defined. So first condition we can write as 9 minus x square, that should be greater than 0, because if it is less than or equal to 0, log is not defined there. And one more condition we can take as 9 minus x square is not equal to 1. Why we can take 9 minus x square is not equal to 1? If 9 minus x square is equal to 1, here we are getting log of 1, and we have already said log of 1 is equal to 0, then it should be 1 by 0, then we are getting an undefined one. That's the reason why here we are taking 9 minus x square is not equal to 1. So that implies here 9 minus x square is greater than 0, that implies minus of x square minus 9 is greater than 0, and that implies x square minus 9 is less than 0. Here we are multiplying both sides by minus 1. I think all are remembering the conditions related to those inequalities, and that implies by using identity we can write, that is x plus 3 into x minus 3, that should be less than 0. That implies minus 3 is less than x is less than 3. That implies the value of x that should be in between minus 3 and 3. And here when we solve this one, 9 minus x square is not equal to 1, that implies x square is not equal to 8, that implies x is not equal to plus or minus 2 root 2 we are getting. And then when we combine these two things, then domain of f is equal to, by using this one, it should be open interval minus 3 to 3, but here it is not equal to, x is not equal to plus or minus 2 root 2. So we have to remove those two values, that is from this interval we have to subtract minus 2 root 2 and plus 2 root 2. Then domain of f is equal to open interval minus 3 minus set minus 2 root 2 comma 2 root 2. We will discuss a few problems related to exercise 1.3. Here the first question, it is check the injectivity, otherwise 1 and surjectivity, otherwise on 2. The function is given like this: f is defined from n to n, that is natural numbers to natural numbers, defined by f of x is equal to x square. So you have to remember the condition 1 and 1 2. So f is injective. Here we can say f is injective, otherwise 1 1, because when we are taking f of x1 is equal to f of x2, if you are taking f of x1 is equal to f of x2, that implies here f of x is given x square. So f of x1 we can write as x1 square, and if f of x1 is equal to f of x2, that implies x1 square is equal to x2 square. That also we can write as x1 square minus x2 square, that is equal to 0, and that implies by using identity we can write that is a square minus b square, no? So here x1 plus x2 into x1 minus x2 is equal to 0, we can say. But we can say x1 plus x2 is not equal to 0. Otherwise we can say that is always greater than or equal to 0. It should be otherwise it is greater than or equal to 0, we can say, because x1 and x2 are natural numbers. If you are two natural numbers, always we are getting it is greater than 0, not equal to, because when we are two natural numbers we are getting it always greater than 0. And the only possibility remaining, it is x1 minus x2 is equal to 0, because the product of these two things, that is equal to 0, but here the first factor, that is x1 plus x2 is not equal to 0. So the only possibility is x1 minus x2 that is equal to 0. That implies x1 is equal to x2. So it is satisfying the condition for 1 1. No, what is the condition? If f of x1 is equal to f of x2, then if it's satisfying x1 is equal to x2, then we can say that it is 1 1. No, that is the condition. And next thing you have to check whether it is on to or not. Here we are proving that by using an example. We are taking f is not surjective, because if you are taking 2 belongs to n, because 2 is a natural number, the function is defined from natural numbers to natural numbers. That means inputs and outputs are always natural numbers, but there does not exist any natural number whose square is 2. Suppose if you are taking the output as 2, that means here x square is equal to 2 if you are taking, then we cannot find out any pre-image, that is square root of 2. That is not a natural number, no? So it will not satisfy that on to, otherwise surjectivity. And next question, check the function is bijective or not. Whether it is bijective or not, that is the thing you have to check. The function which is given real numbers to real numbers defined by f of x is equal to 1 plus x square. How to prove whether a function is bijective or not, otherwise on one correspondence, how to prove that one? If it is 1 1 and 1 2, then we can say it is bijective. That means it should satisfy those two conditions. It should be 1 1, it should be 1 2 also. If we fail to prove that it is 1 1, then directly we can say that it is not bijective, because the condition is 1 1 and if a function is 1 1 and 1 2, then only we can say that it is bijective. So here we are disproving that one by using an example. If you are taking f of 1, then the function is defined f of x is equal to 1 plus x square, so we can write 1 plus 1 square, that is equal to 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. And if you are taking f of minus 1, here inputs are different. First one we are inputting 1, and second one we are inputting minus 1. When we input minus 1, then it should be 1 plus minus 1 square, that is equal to 1 plus 1, and that is equal to 2. In both cases we are getting its output as 2, that is f of 1 is equal to f of minus 1. That means it is not 1 1. When we can say it is 1 1 for different inputs, if you are getting different outputs, then only we can say it is 1 1, otherwise it is not 1 1. So directly we can say it is not bijective. And next question it is, if a function f is from I to I, that is integers to integers, is defined by f of x is equal to 2x plus 1 if x is odd, 2x minus 1 if x is even. Then find f of 3, second one f of 4, and third one x if f of x is equal to minus 9. And then after that you have to check is this function is 1 1. So 4 things are there. First you have to find out f of 3, then f of 4, then you have to find out x if f of x is equal to minus 9, and after that you have to check whether the function is 1 1. So when we move to the answer part, then how to find out f of 3. The function is defined like this: f of x is equal to 2x plus 1 if x is odd. Here 3 is an odd number, so it should be 2x plus 1. Then that is equal to 2 into 3 plus 1, that is equal to 7. And f of 4, next one you have to find out f of 4 is an even number. So we can use the function f of x is equal to 2x minus 1, that is 2 into 4 minus 1, that is equal to 8 minus 1, that is equal to 7. And when you third one, it is you have to find out x if f of x is equal to minus 9. Here f of x is given as minus 9, then you have to find out corresponding values of x. So here two cases are there. We don't know whether x is odd or even. So two cases should be there. Case 1, if x is odd, then we can write f of x. If x is odd, then f of x is defined 2x plus 1, no? And that is equal to minus 9, we can write. That means 2x is equal to minus 10 implies x is equal to minus 5. And case 2 is if you are taking x as even, then f of x is defined like this: f of x is equal to 2x minus 9, that is equal to minus 9, that implies 2x is equal to minus 8, that implies x is equal to minus 4. And that implies by using case 1 and case 2 we can say that if f of x is equal to minus 9 gives x is equal to minus 5 or minus 4, that is two values are possible: x is equal to minus 5 and minus 4. Next thing, that is the fourth one, we have to check whether it is 1 1 or not. So here we have already got f of 3 is equal to 7 and f of 4 is equal to 7. That is the 3 and 4 are different inputs, but output that is same, 7. That is f of 3 is equal to f of 4 is equal to 7. That is 4 different inputs, we are getting same output. So it is not 1 1, right? Next question it is, which of the following graph represent a 1 1 function? Two graphs are given there, and then here we have to check which one represent 1 1 function. So when you check this, what is 1 1 for each for different inputs, if you are getting different outputs, then we can say it as 1 1 function. Suppose in this function, if you are considering that is here this is x-axis and this is y-axis, no? Here we are x-axis, the x coordinates means that is the collection of all inputs, and y coordinate, no, that represent the collection of all output. Suppose if you are taking one element here, then what should be its image? That should be something here, no? The same output we will get here also, right? Otherwise, if you are taking the image of this element, that should be here, and here also we are getting the same number for another input, no? That is here for this input we are getting one output, here for another input we are getting the same output, no? That means this is not 1 1. But in the second graph, if you take any x. Suppose here we are taking, here we are taking, here anywhere if you take any x, then for each x we are getting different images in y, no? Everywhere we are getting different images. So here we can say this second graph represent a 1 1 function, but first graph that is not 1 1.